Being a medium isn't like it is in the movies. It's mostly just sad. People don't call me because they're happy. They call me because they're desperate. And Lana Dawson was desperate. I met her outside a small, single-story house in a quiet Florida suburb. The heat was already rising off the pavement, making the air shimmer. It was the kind of neighborhood where nothing ever happens. Just rows of identical houses, mostly full of retirees and widows. But this house was different. Lana gave me a tired smile when I walked up. She looked like she hadn't slept well in years. "Thanks for coming," she said. Her voice was thin. She hired me because the police had given up a long time ago. 20 years ago, her parents were murdered inside this house. Lana was 15 at the time, staying at her grandma's place. She came home the next day to crime scene tape and police lights. They never found the killer. Private investigators, detectives, cold case units, nothing. I was her last resort. I needed the money, sure, but looking at the pain in her eyes, I mostly just wanted to help her close the door on this. "I never sold it," Lana said as she unlocked the front door. "I just couldn't." As we stepped inside, the air hit me. It was stale, dead. It smelled like old paper and dust that had settled for 2 decades. Before the door closed, I glanced over at the neighbor's yard. There was a tiny old woman there, watering her flowers. She looked over at us, gave a polite little wave, and went back to her gardening. "That's Mrs. Gable," Lana whispered. "She's the only one left from when I was a kid. It's a quiet street. Peaceful." Peaceful. I looked around the living room. It was empty. No furniture, no pictures, just a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling on a wire. "I cleared everything out years ago," Lana said. She walked over to the window and pulled back the heavy curtains. Dust motes danced in the sudden beam of sunlight. It felt wrong, like we were disturbing a tomb. Lana walked me through the kitchen and the bedrooms. I could tell she didn't really believe I could do anything. She was just going through the motions. I didn't blame her. I have a rule: never promise results. The dead talk when they want to talk, not when you pay them to. Most haunted houses are just old houses that make noise. The spirits have moved on, or they just want to be left alone. But sometimes the energy of a violent death acts like an anchor. It holds them there. If Lana's parents were still in this house, I would know. We went back to the living room. I asked Lana to grab a folding chair she had in the hallway and place it right in the center of the floor, directly under that bare light bulb. "I'm going to try to listen now," I told her. "I need you to be absolutely silent. No matter what happens, don't speak unless I ask you to." She nodded, her hands gripping her own arms. I sat down on the floor, crossed my legs, and closed my eyes. At first, there was nothing, just the hum of the Florida heat and the distant sound of a lawnmower. I sat there for 5 minutes, then 10. I was just about to open my eyes and give Lana the "I'm sorry, there's nothing here" speech. Then I heard it. It was faint, a soft, wet sound, like someone trying to catch their breath after crying for hours. It got louder. "Is there someone here?" I asked. My voice sounded too loud in the empty room. The crying stopped instantly. The air in the room dropped 10 degrees. The hair on my arms stood up. A voice, raspy and strange, drifted through the air. It didn't sound like it was coming from a person. It sounded like it was coming from the walls. "Can you hear me?" "Yes," I said. "I can hear you. Who are you?" Silence. Then the weeping started again. Lana shifted nervously, but she stayed quiet. "Please," I said, "are you Mr. or Mrs. Dawson?" The crying cut off, sharp.
"Do you know where she is? I want to tell her I'm sorry."
I frowned. "Sorry for what?" Above us, the light bulb flickered. It buzzed like an angry hornet. The shadows in the corners of the room seemed to stretch out.
"For what I did to her. For killing her the way I did."
My heart hammered against my ribs. I opened my eyes and looked at Lana. She was staring at me, pale as a sheet. She couldn't hear the voice, but she could feel the hate in the room. "I don't think this is your family," I whispered. I had to be careful. Spirits lie. They play games. "Who are you?" I asked the air. No answer. "Do you know what happened that night?" A long pause. The house creaked.
It wasn't supposed to happen like that. She shouldn't have had to die.
"What about Mr. Dawson?" The atmosphere changed instantly. The sorrow vanished, replaced with pure, hot rage.
He got what he deserved.
The light bulb swung violently on its wire, casting wild shadows that danced across the walls. It made sense. I had read the police files. Mr. Dawson was stabbed 15 times in his bed. It was personal, a crime of passion. But Mrs. Dawson, her throat was cut, quick, almost accidental during a struggle. "Why did you do it?" I asked. I needed to keep him talking. "If you want peace, you have to tell the truth." Silence hung heavy in the room.
Because I loved her. I watched her every day, getting in her car, walking the dog, buying groceries. She smiled at me. I felt it in my bones.
"That doesn't explain why you killed her," I pressed. Lana let out a small gasp. She was realizing what I was realizing. This wasn't a random break-in.
I didn't want to.
The light bulb exploded. Glass rained down on the floor. Lana jumped, covering her head. In the darkness, the voice hissed.
I just wanted to get rid of him so we could be together. But she wouldn't accept it. She wouldn't come with me.
The weeping started again, fading away into the corners of the room. I stood up. My legs were shaking. Lana was trembling. What happened? Why did the light bulb explode?" "I need water," I said. My throat was dry as sand. "I'll be right back." "Where are you going?" she asked, panicked. "Next door. I'm just going to ask the neighbor for a glass of water. Stay here. I'll be 1 minute." I walked out into the bright sunshine. It felt blinding after the dark living room. I walked straight to the house next door and knocked. The old woman, Mrs. Gable, opened the door. She looked tiny, fragile, maybe 70 years old. She had flour on her hands. "Oh, hello," she said, surprised. "Hi, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm working next door with Lana. Could I trouble you for a glass of water? The pipes are off over there." "Of course, dear. Come in." Her house was a time capsule too, but a cozy one. It smelled like yeast and baking bread. I followed her to the kitchen. On the wall in the living room, there was a large black and white portrait. It was her, much younger, standing next to a tall, stern-looking man. She handed me a glass of water and went back to the counter. She was kneading a ball of dough. She put her whole weight into it. "I hope you don't mind. I have to get this ready for dinner." "Not at all," I said. I took a sip. "You and your husband make a lovely couple in that photo." Her back stiffened just for a second. She didn't stop kneading. "He left years ago," she said, her voice tight. "Just packed up and vanished one day. Never heard from him again. It's hard to let go of the memories, though." "I bet," I said. "Lana told me you've lived here a long time." "Oh, yes. Very peaceful neighborhood." "I'm a medium," I said casually. She stopped moving. "Oh, that sounds fun?" She let out a nervous little giggle. "Did you find anything over there?" I set the glass down on the counter. "Yes, as a matter of fact, I did." She turned around slowly, wiping her floury hands on her apron. Her eyes scanned my face. "I found your husband," I said. The room went dead silent. "He told me a lot about you." I lied. "And he told me exactly what he did to the Dawson family." It was a bluff, an educated guess. For a ghost to be trapped in that house, knowing the photo, the husband who vanished. The old woman stared at me. Her lip trembled. Then her face crumbled. She collapsed onto a kitchen chair and buried her face in her hands. She told me everything. Her husband had been obsessed with Lana's mother. He watched her through the windows for months. One night he snapped. He broke in, thinking if he confessed his love, she would leave her family for him. When she screamed, he panicked.
He killed her with a fish knife he brought from his own kitchen. Then he went to the bedroom and butchered the father in a jealous rage. He came back here that night, she sobbed. He was covered in blood. He told me what he did. He was proud of it. He said he did it for love. I looked at this tiny, fragile woman. So he didn't run away. She shook her head. No, she said. She looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. He sat right there at this table. He told me he was leaving me, that even though she was dead, he belonged to her now. What did you do? I asked. We kept a handgun under the bed, she whispered. I went and got it. I came back to the kitchen and I shot him in the chest. She took a shaky breath. I buried him in the backyard, under the flower bed. I walked back to Lana's house. She was waiting on the porch looking terrified. Did you find anything? Who was that voice? I looked at her. I thought about the old woman next door, baking bread, living alone with her secret for 20 years. I thought about the monster buried under her petunias. I know who it was, I said. Lana's eyes went wide. Who? It was a drifter, a man who was passing through town. He broke in looking for money and things went wrong. He's dead now. He died in a prison fight a few years ago. His spirit was just confused, stuck. Lana let out a long breath. Her shoulders dropped. It wasn't the whole truth, but it was an answer. So, it's over? She asked. It's over, I said. He can't hurt anyone anymore. I advised the old woman to keep her mouth shut. There was no point in her going to jail now. She had served her time living in that house, right next to the scene of the crime, sleeping every night a few yards away from the man she executed. Lana sold the house a month later. She finally found some peace. As for the husband, he's still there, trapped in the empty living room of the house he destroyed, alone in the dark. And honestly, fuck his peace.